The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. Prepared for radio in 13 episodes by Brian Sibley. With Ian Holm, Michael Hordern, Robert Stevens, Peter Vaughan and Jack May. Episode 11, adapted by Brian Sibley and Michael Bakewell. The Battle of Pelennor Fields.
No! No! Give it to me! You shan't have the precious! Thief! Thief! It's mine! The precious is mine! Mine! Sam? Sam, what have I said? What have I done? Oh, after all you've done for me, forgive me! It's the terrible power of the ring! I wish it had never been found! But don't mind me, Sam. I must carry the burden to the end. It can't be altered. You can't come between me and this doom.
That's all right, Mr. Frodo. I understand. But I can still help, can't I?
Oh, yes.
I've got to get you out of here at once, see? But first you'll want some clothes and gear.
Oh, yes.
As we're in Mordor, we'd best dress up Mordor fashion. And anyway, there isn't no choice. It'll have to be orc stuff for you, Mr. Frodo, I'm afraid. I'll scout round and see what I can lay my hands on. After all that killing, there shouldn't be any shortage of gear.
All right. Sam, this is disgusting, dirty stuff. Ugh.
There's nothing else for it, Mr. Frodo. Now, put this black cap on. It's got the evil eye on it. You see, it fits. Perfect little orc. At least you would be if we could cover your face with a mask. We'll give you longer arms and make you bow-legged. But this cloak will cover some of the telltales. Now, you ready?
Yes. But what about you, Sam?
Well, Mr. Frodo, I'd best not leave any of my stuff behind, and we can't destroy it. I'll just have to cover up. An orc helm and a cloak will serve my purpose well enough, I reckon.
But how are we going to get out?
Well, I reckon the orcs have taken care of themselves. And as for the watchers at the gate, the lady's star glass got me in, so I guess it'll get us out. And then it's the road for Mount Doom.
They passed through the gate, and again it gave its terrible warning. In the far distance, still many leagues away, lay Orodruin, the mountain of fire. There Sauron had once had his dwelling place, and there, in the fire that welled from the heart of the earth, he had forged the one ring, the ruling ring.
Well, there it is, Mr. Frodo. We'd best be on our way there. Oh, run, Mr. Frodo!
It must have heard the alarm from the watchers.
Oh, the hunt will be up now and no mistake. Well, let's get on.
No, this won't do, Sam. If we were real orcs, we ought to be dashing back to the tower, not running away. The first enemy we meet will know us. Oh, we must get off this road somehow.
Oh, with a cliff on one side and a precipice on the other, we'd need wings.
Not quite. Look, do you see? There's a bridge a little way ahead. We'll slip off the road there, then down into the valley and turn northward as soon as we can. Oh, Sam, we cannot hope to go much further.
Well, now, Mr. Frodo, don't you go despairing. We'll manage.
Will we, Sam? I wish I felt so sure. I wonder how long it'll be before we are caught and all the toiling and the slinking will be over and in vain.
We really ought to press on, Mr. Frodo.
Yes, Sam, we ought. Oh, and you must keep the Lady Galadriel's glass. I have nowhere to hold it now, except in my hand, and I shall need both hands in this blind night.
Very well, Mr. Frodo. I'll keep it safe.
Sam, will you take Sting as well? No, I give it to you. I have an orc blade, but I don't think it'll be my part to strike any blow again.
Mr. Frodo, have you any notion how far there is still to go?
No, I haven't. Sam, in Rivendell before we set out, I was shown a map of Mordor that was made before the enemy came back here, but I only remember it vaguely. Even if all goes well, we could hardly reach the mountain in a week. I am afraid, Sam, that the burden will get very heavy, and I shall go still slower as we get nearer.
That's just as I feared. Well, to say nothing about water, we've got to eat less, or else move a bit quicker. At any rate, while we're still in this valley. One more bite and all the food's ended, save the elves' way bread.
I'll try and be a bit quicker, Sam. Oh. Come on, then. Let's start another march.
In the chamber of the White Tower of Gondor, Faramir lay upon his bed, wandering in a desperate fever. And by him his father sat, and said nothing, but watched, and gave no longer any heed to the defence.
My lord! My lord! My lord, Denethor.
I gave orders that none should disturb me.
The first circle of the city is burning, lord. Men cry out for the lord of the city.
I will not come down. I must stay beside my son. He might still speak before the end.
But what are your commands?
Ask of Mithrandir.
But you are still the lord and steward. Not all will follow Mithrandir. Men are flying from the walls and leaving them unmanned.
Why do the fools fly? Better to burn sooner than late, for burn we must. Go back to your bonfire.
And you, my lord.
I will go now to my pyre. To my pyre. No tomb for Denethor and Faramir, no tomb. No long, slow sleep of death embalmed. We will burn like heathen kings before ever a ship sailed hither from the west. The west has failed. Go back and burn. Leave me.
My lord.
Faramir's hand is fevered. He is burning, already burning. The house of his spirit crumbles. Come hither, Peregrine.
My lord?
Farewell, Peregrine, son of Paladin. Your service has been short, and now it is drawing to its end. I release you from the little that remains. Go now, and die in what way seems best to you, and with whom you will, even that wizard friend whose folly brought you to this death. Send for my servants, and then go. Farewell.
I will not say farewell, my lord. I will take your leave, for I want to see Gandalf very much indeed. But he is no fool, and I will not think of dying until he despairs of life. But from my word and your service, I do not wish to be released as long as I live. And if the enemy comes at last to the citadel, I hope to be here and stand beside you and earn, perhaps, the arms that you have given me.
Yours you will, Master Halfling. But my life is broken. Send for my servants. They shall bear my son to the vaults of my ancestors. There we shall perish together on a single pyre. Farewell.
By your leave, lord. Poor Faramir. Where can I find Gandalf? In the thick of things, I suppose. Oh, and he will have no time to spare for dying men or madmen. But find him I must.
Ever since the middle night, the great assault had gone on. To the north and to the south, company upon company of the enemy pressed to the walls. It was against the gate that they would throw their heaviest weight. Very strong it might be, wrought of steel and iron and guarded with towers and bastions of indomitable stone, yet it was the key, the weakest point in all that high and impenetrable wall. In the first faint light of dawn, great engines crawled across the field, and in the midst was a huge ram, great as a forest tree 100 feet in length, swinging on mighty chains. Long had it been forging in the dark smithies of Mordor, and its hideous head, founded of black steel, was shaped in the likeness of a ravening wolf. Grond, they named it, in memory of the hammer of the underworld of old. Great beasts drew it. Orcs surrounded it, and behind walked mountain trolls to wield it. Over the hills of slain, a hideous shape appeared. A horseman, tall, hooded, cloaked in black. He halted and held up a long, pale sword. With a vast rush, Grond was hurled forward by huge hands. It reached the gate.
Again. Again.
In rode the Lord of the Nazgul. A great black shape against the fires beyond, he loomed up, grown to a vast menace of despair. In rode the Lord of the Nazgul, under the archway that no enemy yet had passed, and all fled before his face. All, save one.
You cannot enter here! Do you not see the dawn is at hand? Go back to the abyss prepared for you. Go back! Fall into the nothingness that awaits you and your master. Go!
Old fool, old fool, this is my hour. Do you not know death when you see it? Die now and curse in vain.
The horns of the Rohirrim! Theoden is come at last!
The darkness was breaking too soon, before the date that his master had set for it. Victory was slipping from his grasp even as he stretched out his hand to seize it. But his arm was long. King, Ringwraith, Lord of the Nazgul, he had many weapons. He left the gate and vanished.
Turn back, Lord of Darkness! Flee from the gate of the city whose gates you are never destined to enter. The riders of Rohan are come.
Gandalf! Gandalf!
What are you doing here? Your place is with Denethor.
He sent me away. But I'm frightened. Something terrible may happen up there. Denethor's out of his mind, I think. I'm afraid he will kill himself and kill Faramir too. Oh, can't you do something?
I must go. The Black Rider is abroad, and he will yet bring ruin on us. I have no time.
But Faramir! He's not dead, and they'll burn him alive if someone doesn't stop them.
Burn him alive? What is this tale? Be quick.
Denethor has gone to the tombs, and he has taken Faramir, and he says we're all to burn, and he will not wait. And they are to make a pyre and burn him on it, and Faramir as well. Oh, can't you save Faramir?
Maybe I can. But if I do, then others will die, I fear. Well, I must come, since no other help can reach him, but evil and sorrow will come of this. Even in the heart of our stronghold, the enemy has power to strike us. For his will it is that is at work. Let us go, and quickly.
And so King Theoden and the last of the Rohirrim came to Minas Tirith, to the Pelennor fields. It was a great battle, afterwards told in many a song in the feast hall of Medusel.
Ye heard of the horns in the hills ringing, a sword shining in the south kingdom. Steed went striding to the stoning land, as wind in the morning, war was kindled.
gate is broken, but the enemy has fallen back. There is not a moment to lose. Eomer, lead your company to the gate to secure its defense and destroy the siege engines.
I go, my lord.
Where is the captain of the enemy?
There, where the banner with its black serpent flies in the wind. He's seen you. He spurs towards you.
And we shall advance to meet him. Now, Snowmane, you have ridden hard and long, but bear me now against the adversary. Ride with me, Durnhelm!
Like fire in a furnace they drove through the foemen. Field and Fengel's son, where the press was thickest, shivered his spear as he struck down the sound road.
Die, treacherous Haradrim, captain of the host of Mordor!
Beware, my lord! This is not their captain! Behold! He comes!
Came like a cloud, the creature of darkness, Nazgul but naked with neither quill nor feather, steed of the Morgul king, mightiest in Mordor.
Yield, dotard king. The hour of thy doom has come. Throw down your sword.
To me! To me! Up, Eorlingas! Fear no darkness! Snowmane, the king's steed, started and reared high, crashed to the ground with the king crushed beneath.
Help me. I'm dying.
Mary, on your feet. I must defend the king.
I will stand by you, Durnhelm. And I am very frightened, king's man or no king's man. Oh no, that terrible thing is coming again.
Begone, foul Dwimmerlake, lord of Carrion. Leave the dead in peace.
Come not between the Nazgul and his prey, or he will not slay thee in thy turn. He will bear thee away to the houses of lamentation, beyond all darkness, where thy flesh shall be devoured, and thy shriveled mind be left naked to the lidless eye.
Do what you will, but I will hinder it if I may.
Hinder me, thou fool. No living man may hinder me.
Behold my face, Lord of Darkness. No living man am I. You look upon a woman. Eowyn I am, Eomun's daughter. You stand between me and the king, my kinsman. Be gone if you be not deathless. For living or dark undead, I will smite you if you touch him.
Eowyn! She must not die. At least she will not die unaided.
Die, beast of Angmar!
You have killed my steed. Then prepare to feel my anger, woman of Rohan. Die!
Mary, help me!
You who fight in battle like a man, die like a man.
No!
A halfling, you sting like a gnat.
Eowyn, strike now!
Then die!
He's gone. There is nothing there but a crown and an empty cloak. The Nazgul king is destroyed.
Mary, look to the king, your master.
Theoden, my lord.
Farewell, Master Holbutler. My body is broken. I go to my fathers, and even in their mighty company, I shall not be ashamed. A grim morn, and a glad day, and a golden sunset.
Oh, forgive me, Lord, if I broke your command, and yet have done no more in your service than to weep at our parting.
Do not grieve. It is forgiven. Great heart will not be denied. Live now in blessedness, and when you sit in peace with your pipe, think of me. For never now shall I sit with you in Meduseld as I promised, or listen to your herb lore. Where is Eomer? For my eyes darken, and I would see him ere I go. He must be king after me. And I would send word to Eowyn. She would not have me leave her behind, and now I see her not again, dearer than daughter.
Lord Chief.
How is it with the king?
You come in good time, my lord.
Oh, Theoden, my king.
King no longer, Eomer. Take thou my standard. Hail, Eomer, king.
Eomer, king! Let his knights remain here and bear his body in honor from the field, lest the battle ride over it.
Then said Eomer, mourn not yet. Mighty was the fallen, meet was his ending. When his grave mound is raised, great shall be the weeping. But woe tolls us now.
My lord Eomer. Your sister, Eowyn.
Eowyn! Eowyn, how came you here? What madness or devilry is this? Death! 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 Take us all! Death! Ride! Ride to ruin and the world's ending!
Yes! Yes! Dark was the doom that fell upon Denethor, the end of his house and the high host of Gondor. Fortune had failed him and fighting was vain now. So in despair he runs to destruction, heaps up a pyre for his son and himself, longs to destroy the last of the stewards.
What is this, my lord Denethor? The houses of the dead are no places for the living. Put out your torches.
Since when has the Lord of Gondor been answerable to thee, Mithrandir, and may I not command my own servants?
You may, but others may contest your will when it is turned to madness and evil. Where is your son, Faramir?
He lies within, burning, already burning. They have set a fire in his flesh. But soon all shall be burned. The west has failed. It shall all go up in a great fire, and all shall be ended. Ash, ash, and smoke blown away on the wind.
Where is Faramir?
In the room beyond, on the pyre of death.
Stand aside, steward of Gondor.
There they found Faramir, still dreaming in his fever, lying upon a table. Wood was piled under it, and all was drenched with oil, even the garments of Faramir. But as yet, no fire had been set to the fuel.
Faramir.
Father, did I do right?
Do not take my son from me. Father. He calls for me.
He calls, but you cannot come to him yet. For he must seek healing on the threshold of death, and maybe find it not. Take him from the pyre. Whereas your part, Lord Steward, is to go out to the battle of your city, where maybe death awaits you. This you know in your heart.
He will not wake again. Battle is vain. Why should we wish to live longer? Why should we not go to death side by side?
Authority is not given to you, Steward of Gondor, to order the hour of your death. And only the heathen kings under the authority of the Dark Power did thus, slaying themselves in pride and despair, murdering their kin to ease their own death.
Pride and despair? Do you see this, Mithrandir?
The stone! The stone!
The stone of Aenor.
Palantir. Didst thou think that the eyes of the White Tower were blind? Nay, I have seen more than thou knowest, grey fool, for thy hope is but ignorance. Go then, and labour in healing, go forth and fight vanity. For a little space you may triumph on the field for a day, but against the power that now arises there is no victory. To this city only the first finger of its hand has yet been stretched. All the east is moving, and even now the wind of thy hope cheats thee, and wafts up Anduin a fleet with black sails. The west has failed. It is time for all to depart who would not be slaves.
Such counsels will make the enemy's victory certain indeed.
Hope on then! Do I not know thee, Mithrandir? Thy hope is to rule in my stead, to stand behind every throne, north, south, or west. I have read thy mind and its policies. Do I not know that you commanded this halfling here to be silent, that you brought him hither to be a spy in my very chamber? And yet in our speech together I have learned the names and purpose of all thy companions, so? With the left hand thou wouldst use me as a shield against Mordor, and with the right bring up this ranger of the north who claims the kingship to supplant me.
He is the king.
I say to thee, Gandalf Mithrandir, I will not be thy tool. I am steward of the house of Anarion. I will not step down to be the dotard chamberlain of an upstart. Even were his claim proved to me, still he comes but of the line of Isildur. I will not now bow to such a one, last of a ragged house long bereft of lordship and dignity.
What then would you have if your will could have its way?
I would have things as they were in all the days of my life and in the days of my long fathers before me, to be the lord of this city in peace, and leave my chair to a son after me, who would be his own master and no wizard's pupil. But if doom denies this to me, then I will have naught, neither life diminished, nor love halved, nor honour abated.
To me, it would not seem that a steward who faithfully surrenders his charge is diminished in love or honour. And at the least you shall not rob your son of his choice, while his death is still in doubt.
A choice is not thine, Mithrandir. Come hither, my servants.
Hold still!
They are not yours to command, nor is the Palantir of Minas Tirith, in which I have seen our doom. Bring me fire. Light the pyre of Denethor.
Denethor.
You have robbed me of my son, Gandalf. But in this at least thou shalt not prevent my will. I will rule my own end.
Wreathed in fire and smoke, he took up the staff of stewardship and broke it on his knee and perished in the flames, clutching the Palantir to his breast. And it was said that ever after, if any man looked into that stone, unless he had great strength of will to turn it to other purpose, he saw only two aged hands withering in flame.